Hello there, and welcome to yet another exciting moment in the Builder Story podcast. If you're just joining us here for the first time, the Builder Story podcast is a show that tells the stories of great African leaders across the continent, across Nigeria, who've built stuff, who have also raised kings and leaders, who are kingmakers in your right, who have done a lot of impact in the society and in the nation and in Africa. And today we have one of such great African leaders. She's a phenomenal woman. When I saw her profile, I was like, Godwin. Yeah, we have the CEO of Aspire Coronation Trust Foundation with us right here in Sabi Writers Studios. My name is Ekoma Pabio Joseph, and this is the Builder Story. This is powered by Sabi Writers Studios, of course. Follow us on all our social media platforms and on YouTube at Sabi Writers TV. Now let's go through the profile of our guest today. She has over 20 years experience in small and medium enterprise and the third sector with a wide array of experience covering international development, business and philanthropic management, fundraising and sustainability. Her passion is about creating positive social impact in the world in women, youth empowerment and equity. And she is she sits on boards across different companies, House of Tara Inclusive and others. She has different executive certifications from we have Lagos Business Schools, we have Yale, and the rest of them. I have so much respect for this woman, and today it's my honor and pleasure to invite and to welcome the CEO of Aspire Coronation Trust Fund, Mrs. Osayi Alile.
Thank you.
Welcome
Good morning.
to the podcast. Welcome, ma'am. It's such an honor to have you right here with us.
It's a pleasure.
Pleasure, ma'am. I was, as I told you behind the scenes that I watched a lot of your interviews. One of the things that struck me most about one of them was when they asked you, how did you come into the social impact sector? And your answer was you just stumbled into it.
I did.
You just stumbled into it.
It's my mistake.
The mistakes of this glorious journey.
I know. I mean, it's a good mistake.
Very good.
Good. And a lot of us, when we start our journey, our entrepreneurial journey or our careers, we tend not to know where we're going to.
True.
And even now, I tell people that I'm just starting because I actually still feel that there's still so much ahead. But you kind of stumble into it.
Yeah.
Then the next phase for you as a person, especially if you want to accomplish, is to begin to build.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to build yourself as a person first, and then build yourself in that career. You must know, and you begin to learn and open your mind to new things.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the journey. And because you keep on learning, you keep on changing, you keep on rediscovering, relearning a few things.
True.
But you get there eventually.
So there's something I tell myself all the time. Your dreams are valid.
Very valid.
Very valid. And I remember as a young girl, I had these dreams and aspirations. So this question I have for you right now is, do you think where you are right now is what you envisioned when you were young?
Not all of it. I knew that I was going to, one way or the other, succeed. I just felt to myself that wherever I go, it's just going to be well. It's going to go well, whatever it is. And this is maybe when I became a bit more mature. When you're younger, you just have all sorts of
lofty dreams.
Yeah. But I got to a place where I knew that. So when I got into the sector, the non-profit sector was not very strong at that time in Nigeria, and so people kept on saying, "What are you going to be doing? Do people work in that? What do they make money? Do they, do they achieve? There was no one really that was local based for me to say, okay, this is the kind of person I want to be like. So I had to find people. I had to find people outside of my own comfort zone and start asking questions, sitting with them, and even looking for mentors that maybe were not in the system, but kind of understood where I wanted to go. But what I kept on telling everyone was that I don't care, but I'm going to succeed.
Right.
I mean, I don't have a problem, but I will do well. I said, people will know that I exist. That's all that mattered to me.
Yeah.
And I will find a way of making my own footprints and I must say it was a mistake, but it's been a great journey.
Very great journey.
Yeah.
Reading through your profile, someone would say, this woman is a superwoman. Right?
I wish.
She's a superwoman. So the idea for you sharing your stories for our
Yes.
viewers out there to know that you're as human.
Definitely.
You're human.
Even more human than they know.
Right? Because with all the pedigrees, someone would think that, no, I
Yes.
can't really get close to this woman.
No.
But let's just walk us through your journey, how you started.
Okay. Gosh, I started my life, of course. I lived and worked in Nigeria, went to school here, primary, secondary school. I went to University of Lagos, and I started doing, I think, we had like a gap here, and then I went to go and work at one of the financial institutions because, the schools had closed down. I think they were having a riot, one of those things that used to happen at that time.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to be doing nothing. So I went to work, and so in my mind I was going to be a banker. I just loved it. It was a new bank, everybody was young and fly. So I was just feeling so cool. But they made you work. But I had to go and do my master's. So I went to do an MBA. And then when I was there, I started volunteering.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, this is it. So I started talking to people and they were like, oh, it's a career. I'm like, no. You can actually do this, impact people's lives, and it's a career. I said yes. I went back and I changed my master's from an MBA to public administration and non-profit. Nobody knew my house, of course. So my father, when I was graduating, thought I was doing an MBA. So he got there and he was like, what's this? I want to work in the non-profit space. And he was like, do they pay people there? How can you spend all this money and then you want to do non-profit?
Right.
But because I came out at that time too, which was a Pi Alpha, which, it's almost like, it's like a first class degree.
Yeah.
So he was happy about that, but he was like, you were supposed to go back into the banking sector. What are you going to do? And then, so I got a job and then I started gradually, moving along. But I now started equipping myself more. Now, of course, you have the internet, Wi-Fi everywhere. Everything.
Yes.
But then you had to read all the books. And I started looking for courses outside of the country and trying to understand who was there, what were they doing. It was very deliberate. The progression after I found what I wanted to do was very deliberate. And I'm still very deliberate and very strategic about what I want to accomplish. From the very beginning, it was something I just felt to myself because I knew that people were not comfortable about what I was doing. I needed to do even more.
More, yeah.
Yes, I needed to achieve more. I needed to push myself even more. And then because there were not many people that I could say, now when you say law, you can pick 20 women. When you say non-profit sector, you can pick 20 women. But then it was almost impossible. So I had to do and push myself even more. So I surrounded myself with a lot of mentors. I had very great mentors that were very, very understanding of my sector. And even I remember one of my mentors was like, I'm going to go and read it. I need to go and understand it too, so I know how to advise you. Because they knew that my heart was there. And I just loved what I was doing. I love what I'm doing.
You're really passionate.
Yes,
about
I'm
it.
very passionate about the work I do. I love it. And you will get frustrated, and that's what I want to tell every entrepreneur, any career person out there. Their frustrations will come. If I always tell people that if it hasn't come, prepare yourself. It's going to come. And if you're a biblical person, you know that there will always be lean days and there will be days of plenty. Yes. So you have to prepare yourself for the lean days. And I prepare myself for it. I tell myself there'll be times where you're going to be, and I was just talking this morning with someone. I was like, I was so frustrated yesterday. You go through that frustration where you're like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Am I going to get anything? There are too many no's and too many doors being slammed in my face. Then you wake up the next morning and you put on everything, you smile, put on some lip gloss and then move.
So you're saying that you've experienced some closed doors?
Not experience. I am experiencing some closed doors. Many of them. And nobody can tell you a story that's all ups. And anybody that comes to tell anyone that, they should know that there's something, it's not necessarily true. Yeah. But we're human beings. We will always put the positive stories out there.
True.
So you always hear the good. I'm not going to come and when I'm writing something and tell you only the negative. I'm going to tell you, and they are more good than they're negative. I must tell you. I have more success stories than challenge stories, but there are challenges that we face as entrepreneurs or as career people, and they will come. But that's where you have that thing your cup is so full that you can take it for a certain time. And that's why you surround yourself with good people that can. I mean, as soon as that happened yesterday, I called someone. The person was like, Osayi, this is a phase. You must realize it's a phase.
Yeah.
And then she now told me, didn't you just tell me a few days ago that you were able to do this? She brings you to remembrance of the good. And then you smile and you say, okay, so let's just realize that it's a phase and you're going to go past it very quickly. So let's just pray that it goes faster than you expect.
I remember when I was having a conversation with a friend some years ago.
Yeah.
And it's easy for you to give advice to someone.
Yes.
It's not really easy to take your own advice.
Very easy.
So I really agree with you when you say surround yourself with people that will remind you of how
good people.
Exactly. Emphasis on that. That will remind you of how valuable you are, how worth it is, and what the phase you are in right now.
Yes.
Then you talked about mentorship.
Yes.
And a lot of times I'll speak for myself, right? A lot of times I think that it's easy for me to go on the way of this life without, having mentors around. How important is mentorship to life generally?
150%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe sometimes 200%.
Wow.
I mean, I can look back in my life and tell you that I've had great mentors. I still do. And some of them are not official. Some of them are very unofficial. But I've had people that have stood with me through the test of times. They've stood with me, good, bad, and ugly. They've called me and said, look, to my face, this is going to happen, prepare for it. And and I've had them with me during the good times as well. You see, sometimes, in life, you can't work the journey on your own. I tell people all the time, you can be doing extremely well this minute and in another 5 years, something goes wrong. What happens then? Who do you have around you? Who do you surround yourself with? And you have to have strong mentors that when you're not in a room, they can speak for you as well. I've had many people call me and tell me that, what did you do with this person? We're in a meeting and they called your name and the person went on about you and stood for you. And then maybe I realized that person is a friend to a mentor, not even my own mentor, because my mentor has been able to tell them good things about me. You must have people. And people say, hey, but you've grown so many years, maybe that's why you have them. I said, no, I've had mentors from the beginning. I mean, I didn't have my career wasn't great when I had my first mentor. I was just starting my life. And I can mention till today, Mrs. Awushika was my very first official mentor. And I met her when I was starting my journey in life. And till today, she's still one of my greatest supporters. So, and my sponsor. So you must have those people, but in having them, you must also be willing to sacrifice a lot of your time, your resources. And when I mean resources, people think financial. No, it's a lot of your resources also doing the work.
Yeah.
Making sure that you are prepared, and then also integrity is key because they also want to trust you. Because they're bringing you into their space, they're bringing you sometimes into their homes to meet their families. So they must trust you. Yeah. And so integrity is also key. So all those things, you have to clean yourself to get to that point so that people can, because when your name is mentioned, when I give your name to someone, I must trust you enough that you're not going to mess me up. Yeah. Because I might be using only my last card with that person. And I must trust that you're going to use it to also help someone else and to also, make sure that person is happy that they chose you. So all those things are key. And in working journeys, you can start a car by yourself, you can drive it, but there's somebody that will look at the car, make sure that there's brake fluid, all those extra things you need. Like I told you at the beginning, you do jollof rice, tomato, exactly. So you need extra things in life. You need the extra flavor. And when people tell me that, I don't trust anybody, I cannot. My life has been with a flavor of people. Yeah. I depend a lot on people. So it's a flavor of people. And that's what has given me a lot of rest on every side. And I'm so grateful that I have mentors. So mentoring is so key.
It's beautiful that we have had a lot of African leaders pass through the Builders podcast. And they say one thing is constant, all they say, people are assets.
100%.
People are assets. And it's beautiful that you're affirming the same thing.
No, people are assets. You can't live life without them. And even for me, with my mentees, I always tell people that I cannot live life without my mentees. They are my strong supporters.
I was even going to ask you that.
Yes, my mentees are, they're the ones that show me the new of life. Because you get to a certain age or a certain journey, and then you're up there just sitting down looking pretty, but you don't know what's going on. So, there's so many things they send to me, and I'm just like, what's happening?
There's this new trend that's happening right now. It's lonely at the top.
Is
it really lonely at the top?
It's not for me, because I have people.
Yeah.
Yes, I have people, I have mentors, I have good family, I have good friends. And
beautiful.
I've sacrificed myself to be a good friend. So a lot of people say, and people don't stand by me. I say, have you stood by them?
Yeah.
It's a two-way streak, so you just have to be good for people to be good to you.
Yes.
But you can't sit down and complain about everybody. Even in terms of business, you will have people that will, once in a while do things that you're not comfortable with. But you have to be at a place where you have also sacrificed for people, for them to also do for you. And if you don't do, you don't receive. And even to receive, you have to open your hand. So you have to give to get back. So all those things are important.
I was going to ask you. You said something about experiencing some closed doors at the moment.
Yes.
How do you prioritize rest when you're burnt out, when you're overwhelmed? How do you prioritize rest?
I'm at the place of that now. I'm totally tired. You see, sometimes you have that leverage, the timing to do that, and you take it. Sometimes, like now, I can't take any break for a period of time because I'm trying to achieve a few goals. But it's important. In the beginning of my career, I didn't know how important it was, and I was always running. In fact, even till now, people are always like, even my body's always like, calm down. Where are you rushing to? But when you have so much in your mind to achieve, there's always something that's pushing you and pushing you. But you have to consciously tell yourself, Osayi, you need to step back a bit and rest. So yesterday, I had to tell my assistant, this time at this season, you have to stop me and you have to tell me to go and rest. Yes, so you have to consciously do that. Then, like I tell you, I have some good people around me. I have friends that will call me, you cannot continue like this. I heard your voice yesterday, you're sounding tired. I saw your face yesterday, you're sounding tired. You need to rest. So, you see, once those things happen, rest is essential. Yes. Because your body cannot continue on that level, and then your brain begins to shut down. Yes. And it doesn't even have anything to do with age. It's just who we are as human beings. Even the Bible, if you're a Christian, says that even Christ went to sleep.
Rested.
He rested. So, rest is essential.
Very essential.
And it's also essential to spend time with family. It's also essential to do all those things. So you have to be able to adjust yourself continuously and remind yourself that everything else is important, even as work is important.
It's beautiful to see the human side of you. I just had to say that.
No. I like enjoyment, so it's just time. If you know me, you know that I like to enjoy myself. I always tell people that life is, you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. So once there's play, I play to the maximum. And once there's family, I do family to the maximum. I give everything to whatever I'm doing. And that's the way I've always been. If I come into a space, no matter what I'm going through, once I walk into that space, I shut everything else down. I give you my 100%, maybe 70, 80%, but more than 50%. And it's the same thing I do with my family, my sons. If I'm with them, I give them 100%. Because really, we do all these things. Who knows tomorrow?
Life is just one.
Life is one. And so when in terms of business, when we're talking about life and our journeys of life, we must remind ourselves daily. You just don't know. So once you have that time, do the best that you can. And he doesn't reach poor beggar thief. It's everyone. And no one has been given, this is the number of days you're going to live for.
Right.
Even if some people say, I'm talking to God every day. God doesn't tell you.
He doesn't.
He doesn't. So do the best that you can, give the best you can, give the all that you can, and leave the rest. Leave the rest.
So let's walk us through ACT Foundation.
Yes.
It's been 6 years.
Yes.
6 years. How has the journey been so far?
It's been beautiful. It's been a blessing. ACT, Aspire Coronation Trust Foundation, it started off just thinking of the benefits that an African organization could give to Africans. And when we started, we had a plan of numbers to reach. All those things that you normally have, we've over surpassed them, and I'm so proud of where we are. So I was saying that we're in all the Nigerian states now, and we're now in 8 African countries. And it's not where I thought it would be, but it's been an amazing journey because it's better than I expected. So what we do is fund and give capacity to social enterprise organizations, so NGOs, social enterprises, social impact organizations, and but only in four stages, which is health, environment, leadership, and enterprise. So anyone that has those 4 pillars and you're looking for funding, you can always send. So we have an application process, and you can, if you go to the website, you can see all that. But we also realized that a lot of these social enterprises also had an issue with capacity and building themselves as an organization. So we do a lot of enterprise trainings now, and we do a lot of consulting with them. So now I work with about 125 organizations across Africa.
Oh, that's great.
And so we funded, but we also help them to build their organizations as well, making sure that things are going well, the organization is going well. If they're looking for any help, we're willing to work with them. If they have HR issues, for example, so we'll give them an HR consultant to work with. And it's going well. I'm very proud of the entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs we work with. I'm proud of the work they are doing. And when you go to the communities and see the kind of work people are doing, I mean, we're even working, coming into here today, it just gives you so much. I mean, you hear a lot of negative things. And that's why I'm so proud about what you guys are doing. The stories that we tell about Africa. It's our story to tell. And we can't leave it to people to tell it for us. It's because the stories have been so negative. But there's so many, the challenges that even we as Nigerians are facing at the moment, and the issues and the stresses of life that we face. There's so many interesting and positive stories out there that people, regardless of what's going on, are still pushing and still working and still trying to invest into the country that they live in. And this is all across Africa. And we must tell those stories. We must make people realize that we are building our country. We are building our continent. And we as Africans can do it.
We can do it because I think it's high time we stand on our own instead of actually asking for help from other nations.
Yes. And even if they bring help, because we do help, even if they bring help, let them bring it on based on our terms.
Our terms, yes.
It's our terms, it's our country, it's our continent. And we know where the shoe is pinching us.
Right.
Let's work with you to take you to where the help is needed. Let's just help you to help us. And once we do that, you get the benefits, we also get the benefits. But don't come and tell us what needs to be done.
What needs to be done,
based on the stories you have listened and heard. That's where my own is.
Funny enough, that reminds me of one of the interviews I watched you, and you asked a question. I think you said one time you were going to a particular community to provide solution to that problem, and you went there and discovered there was another problem.
There was a
greater problem than that,
and it happens all the time. Maybe they sent you a proposal for something that has to do with health, and then you go into the community and realize that that's not the major issue. The fundamental is something else. So that's why we as people must be very open to learn. We must be open to listen. And that's what we're talking about, even the international community coming in. When we listen to the community issues, then we can now come up with proper solutions that are beneficial to that community. When you do that, the impact actually is even bigger because it's what they need. And that need analysis that you do is helping you to also, it staggers. Because with water, when the water is calm, and you throw a stone into it, the ripple effect.
Ripples, yes.
If you don't throw a stone into it, it's different. Once you throw it, the ripple effect is what I'm talking about. It helps you to solve more problems, but also solve it in a more dignified manner. And then remember, ripples are always so beautiful and clean. So beautiful,
actually, yes.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens.
So you're saying that it's important to research before you go into this community to offer help.
100%. It's always proper to do those things, even with leadership. When you're talking about leadership and talking about great leaders in Africa, great leaders in Nigeria, in any country that you are in, you must realize that as a leader, the most important is your listening skills.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you go thinking, I want to do this, and you say, this is what I want to do, you must hear. I tell people sometimes, you have to hear what is not being spoken.
Word.
That's the most important thing.
Profound.
What is not being spoken is the most important thing. So you might go there because they feel that you're bringing in money. Everybody's saying yes, 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 yes. But you can. There's a way as a leader, you throw the question this way, you throw the question this way, and then you can hear what is not being spoken, what is in the heart of man. And once you hear that, then the solution comes.
Mm-hmm.
So every leader must listen. You're not quick to speak. I jest a lot, I play a lot, but I'm always listening for the silence. And when you hear the silence, you know what your people are speaking about, what hurts them, and then you can come up with solutions for it.
Talking about leadership,
yes,
one of the qualities of leaders, great leaders, is making hard decisions.
Yes.
Now, I use an example where you went to a community and you realized that you had major other major problems.
Yeah.
How is the decision making in where you have to choose or prioritize one project over the other?
I mean, that's the hard decisions you have. You must realize as an individual, as a company, that you don't have unending funds. Even the big players don't have unending funds. I mean, one of the biggest foundations now is Bill and Melinda Gates, and even them are getting funding from other people as well. So you must prioritize. You must be able to say what's important for this season and say, okay, you can go further and look for other organizations that can come in to help based on what you feel is important for the community. But as a leader, you have to put your foot down. You have to know when to say no and know when to say yes. And for me, at the beginning of my life, it was difficult. The no's were difficult for me because I just felt that you had to solve everything. But now I know where I'm heading to for the year, and till I achieve that goal, everything else is not a priority to me. And everything else, sometimes, of course, when emergency comes, and when we had COVID, we had to just change everything and focus on that. When Ebola came as well, it was the same thing. And so emergencies do occur where you have to step in and solve that problem. But everything else, my priority is my priority, because every organization has to be focused. If you start jumping around, you will not achieve anything. And we know what our focus. So you cannot come to me with something that is not part of my mission. It's not possible. No matter how my heart breaks, I will tell you that it's not who we are. I can send you to other organizations and I can even call them on your behalf, but I will not do what is not my priority.
Talking about that, when you have to say no to some projects, no matter how disheartening it looks like, have you been labeled negatively?
Oh, definitely. You will.
You can't please everybody, right?
Yeah, people will say, "Oh, she doesn't know it's important to us. These people are suffering out there." I'm like, I understand, and my heart goes out to those things. So if it's not my company and it's something Osayi, I feel is important, I have projects I do by myself, many projects
without involving
ACT, because it's important to me. So I'll do them, but you cannot force someone to do what is not their priority. And even us as human beings, as individuals, we must get to that place where we realize that people cannot should not force you to do what is not your priority. And that's what causes problems in our individual lives, even with marriage, for example, when other people are coming to tell you what your family should be like. No. Once you know, of course, people can advise you. People can suggest to you. And that's why you must know as a person who you are. No one can force me to do what I'm not supposed to do. No. Because I know who I am.
Yes.
You can't come and tell me, oh, do this, because, and they say, you have to do it. I'm like, no, I don't have to do anything, because I know who I am. And that's why for me, integrity is key. Once I know who I am, everything else falls to the side for me. I know where I'm going to. I know what's important to me. I can ask for advice. And that's why my mentors are there. I can ask you to, I'm not sure about, I've called people many times. I say, I'm not very sure about making this decision. Can you help me? Think through it for me. And they'll come back and say this. Doesn't mean that all the time I follow their advice. Doesn't mean that I'm always right.
Yes.
Sometimes I've realized that the advice that was given to me was better advice than mine. But because I know who I am, it makes it easier when I make mistakes to say, that was a mistake. I should have done it the other way. And then I change it, rectify it, and then start the journey all over. And that's why learning is important. Unlearning and relearning
Very
is
important.
also important as well.
You've made a lot of salient points, and just reminds me of this philosophical talk where they say, "Man, know thyself." Very important.
You have to. You got
Very
to. You got to
important.
know it. And I'm still learning. I tell people I don't know everything, but I'm still learning. And you have to be open and flexible enough to make mistakes.
Flexibility.
Yes. And mistakes will happen.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about collaboration and networking in the world of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Because I know that there's so many promising entrepreneurs out there who are just starting, who are interested in your sector.
Yes.
They don't know where to begin. They don't know how to start. So let's talk about collaboration. How important is it?
It's very important because it's something that I think I've mentioned it in a few of the conversations. You can't do everything on your own.
Yeah.
If you are focused on 4 things and someone brings this issue, I collaborate with other organizations, say, okay, this is important. Is this something you guys are interested in doing? I'll give an example again with COVID. When it happened, we couldn't go to all the communities because everybody was stuck.
Yeah.
But I knew that there were a lot of NGOs that were still working. So we were like, what do you need from us to make sure you achieve your goals at this stage? And they were not organizations we worked with from the beginning. So that's where collaboration comes in. We had the funding, we couldn't spend it because we couldn't go, but we knew people were there. Because you see, at that time also, it's not like other sicknesses were not happening.
Yeah.
Cancer was still
on.
Maternal issues, people were still having children. Domestic abuse was still happening. So there were organizations that were still running 100%, but no funding was coming in. So in terms of that, that's where collaborations, networking came in. They knew we're doing that. People were calling us, can you fund this? And because we knew at that time that what we're doing formally wasn't working, we had to be informal about that. Collaboration is key. So even as a new organization, if you're not sure about what to do, find out who is out there. You have to research who's out there. Nobody's going to come to your office and say, I heard about you, no matter how great you are. Because sometimes they will just not hear. In fact, as great, we're doing an exceptional work as far as I'm concerned. But there's some people that will call me and say, I've never heard about your organization till yesterday. And I'm thinking, but it's your cause. So what you have to do is do a lot of work. So sometimes I go even to the big organization and see who is following them. I start following those ones. So you have to ask questions. So when you now hear about ACT, you say, okay, let me go into ACT. Let me go and see what they're doing. Let me find out. Let me start following them. Because it's based on that when anything comes up, we put it on our page. And then you can now, follow and apply for some grants. And we have some ad hoc grants that do occur. So those things are things you have to deliberately know who is out there. So if you have a program that's on maternal health, you must know the 10 players in the community that you work in. If you're in Uganda, you must know who are the big players. What are they doing? If they have a program that is free, and maybe you cannot afford the ones that are paid for, just walk into the place and just, so those things you have to do. Nobody's going to help you to do it.
Okay. All right. So collaboration is key. Networking is key.
Yes.
My question before we go on a break is, if I want to start an NGO right now, what are the processes of funding? Because I know that a lot of people have those questions in their mind. Because let's be honest, there's so many people that we do not know. We don't know background. We don't know where they're coming from. How are you able to, how am I going to perceive the ones that have good intentions how
I mean, we have a good process to it. So what I always tell NGOs that are new that come to me is that go and make sure that your foundation is strong. That means you have things in place. You have an account, you're registered. And, I know you're doing fantastic work, but people need to check all these things.
Yeah. So very important.
And then if, there's a scorecard. If you go online, there are different measurable scorecards. And scorecards give you maybe like a few steps to take before you go for funding. So I mean, making sure that you are registered, making sure you have a board. It doesn't have to even be, maybe even advisors, that people know that you are answerable to as well, that you have an account that you are taking out money from. We can see some things and stuff like that. Of course, a mission, and you've done a few projects. It doesn't have to be plenty. A few, and you can see that you have gone back to go and check what the impact is. But these things are things that you can check online and just say, okay, I'll tick some things. So if there's a 10 point score, you can tick like, these are the things I've done. So we check everything. I mean, I'm so deliberate. We've not had any one default.
I was going to ask you.
No
I was going
default
to
at
ask
all.
you that.
Even the only small default that we have recently was that someone was moving out of the country and they had to shut down the program.
Okay.
And that was only because she was moving out of the country. And I go to your footprints, I check your page, social media, everything.
Wow.
And I must see something.
Yes.
And if you're serious, you must have some footprints that people can check. And if you don't have it, it's very rare that you will get institutional funding. You might get money from Osayi because Osayi knows you, but institutional funding will be very rare if nobody can check your footprint. So you have to go and make sure you have a footprint.
Let me highlight that again. You have to show something.
You have to show
evidence.
Evidence.
Yes, evidence so you can get all those funding that you are asking for. That's very apt, ma'am. You're a body of wisdom, and I can't wait for the next phase of this conversation as we're going on a break right now.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to go on a short break, and by the time we come back, we're going to enter the next phase of the conversation. Stay with us. It's still the Builder Story podcast.
Explore Africa's rich heritage, culture, people, history, food, diversities, dreams, and unlock the spirit of Africa through the finest art of storytelling. Alile by Sabi writers. An online marketplace for short, authentic African stories. At the tap of a button, you can shop and enjoy your favorite African stories for 1,000 Naira only. Whether you are in Lagos, London, Nairobi, or New York, Alile by Sabi writers brings the true beauty of Africa closer to you. Join our global community of readers today to explore the beauty of Africa through storytelling. Visit alile.sabywriters.com to browse and shop today.
And welcome back. It's still the Builder Story podcast. And right now we have been having conversations with the CEO of Respire Coronation Trust Foundation, Mrs. Osayi Alile. And she is an embodiment of wisdom. Thank you so much, Ma, for this honor again.
Thank you.
Okay. So you, because of your journey, you're sitting on different boards right now. How have you been able to reach that point? How did you establish trust with those people, with those companies?
I think first is based on your own journey. People watching, seeing that you've done, at least to a certain point, your journey is going as best as it can. And you can see that you're a person of trust, integrity. Because I sit on a few boards, I've never met the founders before, or the owners, and they got my name and they called and started having conversations and stuff like that. Or I just joined a new board where it was a recruiter that reached out to me. So sometimes it's interest. Maybe they feel that what you're bringing, the value that you're bringing to table is interesting to them, because a board is a two-way streak. You must bring value to the table, and the company must be able to bring value to you as well.
Of course.
Because if not, it's a waste of time for you and even the company. So I think it's people seeing that, and I only sit on boards I'm interested in what the company does, because it's a lot of work. You put in a lot of your energy into it, so you have to have some interest in it. And if you don't know the founder or the CEO, you begin to have a relationship with that person as well. So I think it's a process. It's a process, and you must be stable in what you are doing for people to see this and see how it happens. And I've sat on good boards. You mentioned House of Tara. I have been on House of Tara board for over, I think, more than 12 years. So we've seen the journey of House of Tara grow, and I also sit on, and I'm just talking about local boards now. Zafire Events. And I chair Funke's board. I've chaired Funke's board now for about 6 years. And I've seen that company grow significantly too as well. And I sit on now two international boards. And it's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of
a
work.
lot.
It's a lot of work. And it's just a lot of work, but it's good work. And I learn a lot. You meet people on the board too that have much more experience than you do. So I go in with a mindset to learn as well. So I'm very, at the first meeting, I'm very quiet, listening, understanding the dynamics of the board. And that's like anything else in whatever business you are in. So it's not only with the board, it's even if you start a new business or you go into a new company, start a new job, you have to understand the dynamics of how, almost understanding the zen of the organization.
The culture.
The culture, the aura, and what kind of value systems do they have, what's important to them, so that you kind of know what you're bringing. So once that happens, it's a bit easier for you to know what you can bring to them. Because sometimes when you start and you read something and sitting in it is very different. And I just joined a new board this year, and they are in the agriculture space, and I must tell you, I've learned so much.
Right.
It's really amazing, the kind of things that has opened my eyes to see. But let me tell you, almost 8 years ago, I've never had any family in agriculture. It's not my forte. I just became very interested in agric and started asking questions, going to seminars on it, listening to podcasts, So when this came up, I just started laughing. I was thinking to myself, Osayi, you were preparing yourself for that.
Yeah.
And in fact, when I was talking to the CEO, and almost like our chats, I kept on telling them, I said, I've been so excited about this. So, sometimes you just don't know.
You don't know.
You
really.
don't know. And now I'm there and I'm just like so excited. I'm like, oh my goodness, so it's good work.
It's the fact that you're always eager to learn,
I
and
know.
you somehow you find yourself in that.
You just find yourself in that, and you're like, okay, good. So it's very interesting, but it's a great business. I'm looking forward to because it's just starting. So I'm looking forward to when we get to a certain
well
place.
Done, ma'am.
Thank you.
Done. So you have had a chance to work with people. Ones that are there times that you have to work with people that you didn't plan to, because people come with different energies, they come with different bodies, they come from different, your background.
Yes.
And sometimes energies don't match
100%.
So are there mistakes you have made?
Many.
And we'd like to walk us through that. We'd like to walk us through that so we'll not repeat this kind of mistakes again.
I think some of those things, you just have to trust your guts. And a lot of times, my staff, they tell me I'm a woolly. A lot of time, because when you've done this over the years, you can always, something tells you,
your instinct's going to be very sharp.
You always say, And sometimes they've insisted, oh no, this person is great, let's do this. Osayi, you have to open your mind to get new people. I just say, okay, no problem. Then they'll come and meet me. Mom, you were right. But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with making calculated risk. Those risks are risks I took because it wasn't going to destroy something. But even with friendships and relationships, we do. All of us go. But when it ends, you can say to yourself, I knew, but I still went into it. So I always, there's a prayer I say, Lord, just help me in building. So when I build and I make a mistake, I can correct it.
Yeah, it doesn't come crashing down.
Yes, it doesn't crash me. It doesn't destroy people's life, doesn't destroy other people. So, because you will make some of those mistakes, and you also sometimes make decisions based on how you feel and how you're excited about something. Or when someone is speaking, you just get like, it's gonna work. But so I always tell people, I don't make decisions I always go back and tell them, give me a few days or a few hours, because then I go back into myself and say, are you sure this is going to work? Sometimes I go ahead, but I always know when it's going to fall apart. I can tell.
There's something you say in most of your interviews. You said when you're about to start a non-profit organization, see it as a business.
It is a business.
And then you have talked about that it's okay to make mistakes. Now, I'd like you to talk to the viewers out there who are trying to start a business, non-profits, many other sectors, and over their trials, they have made a lot of mistakes and they're beating themselves down. What would you like to say to them?
You can beat yourself down. It's part of the journey. It's okay. It's part of the journey of recovery. To say to yourself, "Gosh, I shouldn't have done it that way," and but don't stay down. Don't stay
there.
No. I told you at the beginning. Yesterday I was going through one of those everything is going wrong kind of day. It must happen. Don't beat yourself down. Just ask, okay, what mistakes can I correct that particular mistake? And sometimes you get to a place where you have to shut everything down. I know it has happened. I've started businesses before and I shut it down and say, okay, it's not going to work this way. And I'm one of those people, even in my office, I say, we start a new project and it's not working. I'm not the kind of person that say, well, let's just continue. No. We come back to the table, it's not working. If we change a few things, will it work? Everybody says, no, shut it down. Resources are, yes, it's expanded. I say it's better to shut down now than to expend more resources.
And it still fails.
And, with that failure comes with people feeling bad. And you will feel that your human resources will suffer for it.
Yeah.
So it's better to shut it down quickly because not everybody has that quick comeback. Because I've gone through a lot, I have a quick comeback. So people always say, but you just went through this and you are still smiling. I say, hey, okay, am I going to die?
You've built capacity,
so yeah. I cannot die. It's not going to kill me. And it's not a death of a person you love. That's a different kind of, yes. I've even gone through that. I've lost staff before that I sent them for work. They didn't come back.
Oh dear.
So, you go through so many challenges in your life and you must tell yourself that it builds up your capacity. It builds up your capacity and you learn from it. You learn from it and you say to yourself, what do I do better? So whatever it is that anyone is going through, people have gone through it and even worse. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. So I always tell myself, Osayi, hey, somebody has gone through this thing before.
Yeah.
So go through the stages of grief, but get up. Because people are depending on you.
Right.
You have staff, you have family, you have people. Like my son is always saying he's my champion. Will I say I'm not doing anymore? If I fail.
Your son calls you that?
Yes, I'm his who else is going to be his champion?
Right?
So, and that's another important thing as a leader. Your home must be in leadership to your children, your sisters, your family must be able to say to themselves that, this our person has done well.
Yeah.
If it's everybody else outside that is clapping for it, I don't even know.
And your family doesn't. What's that?
The outside people don't even know you now. When you look at my CV and see the beauty of the CV, that's the beauty.
Yes.
The fragrance. I'm showing you only the fragrance, the good fragrance. But it's the people that are home with you, that have gone through the turmoils with you, that know the stress, that when you get them, sometimes you cry. And you're like, how can this happen to me? And then you say, okay, I cannot do this right now because I'm doing this. I cannot focus on your schoolwork now because I'm doing this. They're the ones that should be able to give you the flowers first. If they are not, then you better go and rectify that. If you have a wife at home and she's not saying, my husband is the greatest entrepreneur because she's so frustrated and tired, then you must rectify that.
Rectify immediately.
Yes, immediately.
Immediately. So it's often said that success, the greatest enemy of success is success. And it's been years of success. Now, we've had so many successes. Like you said before, you've had successes more than failures. Is it possible for you to lose sight of what you've had? Or is it possible for a person, an entrepreneur, to lose sight of their core vision? And how do you remain true to your true self in the course of all the successes around you?
I tell I've heard that before, and I always tell people it's not who I am, because I don't even know if it's a good thing the way I'm going to say it, because I'm one of those people that something happens, as soon as it's been accomplished, I kind of move on. I don't dwell.
You don't dwell on it?
No.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, but sometimes it's good to celebrate yourself.
Okay.
Yes. So now I kind of balance it out. I must celebrate with the team. I must say we've done well. Let's clap. But I'm not even joking. As soon as it's in the process of being done, I'm looking for. I'm moving to the next thing.
Next thing.
I'm already talking about the next thing. So people that work with me that are my inner caucus of my staff, like, they're always laughing. They're like, Osayi, as soon as everybody's smiling there, and they're like, you have moved on. Your mind has moved on. I say, oh yeah. So
Like,
I don't dwell on that,
yeah.
those things. And I tell, I mean, as much as I've been successful, or at least I'm in this journey of success, and even with my age, I just feel as if I'm just starting. I don't think I've done everything, or I've accomplished even 10-15% of what I'm supposed to
It
accomplish.
keeps you hungry, I think.
Oh my goodness, I'm just in my first chapter of my book.
Nice.
Definitely, I believe so, 100%. And you see, it's not only about my business, it's about my life, about me as an individual. I just feel that I'm just getting started with God, with my life, with my family, so I'm excited. I just turned 50 in June, and I'm so excited about where I'm going to. So I don't look at that too. Success is good, but it's just success.
You just turned 50, man.
Yes, I just turned 50.
What is your skincare routine? What is your fitness journey like?
No,
You don't do all that?
I do that. It's important to me because you have to stay healthy. I mean, I don't feel I'm even my healthy game, but I still, I mean, when I still ran this morning, I still do all those things. Yeah, but I also eat very well. I enjoy my food, so I have to do that. My brain has to work, and I feel that if I'm not strong in my body, then my brain is not going to work. And because I know that there's so much that I have to accomplish, my system must work. So I have to take care of everything. Everything for me is important. My body, my health.
Yeah.
Yes, all those things are important.
Okay, so let's talk about ACT right now.
Yes.
It's the way we've all revolved around your life and community. I like the way we're going. So let's talk about ACT right now. The economy of Nigeria right now is not really good. It's not good. How has that impacted the social impact sector? How has that?
It's impacted us, and it's impacting because the funding that any organization was getting before is not what you're getting anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of organizations are withdrawing funds, and this is across board. It's not only in Nigeria; it's across. The funding is beginning to dwindle. So what I tell myself or tell other organizations, and I've been talking about this for a few years, is the sustainability of who you are as an organization. The organization has to be sustainable. I am building my endowment already, and I started from the very first year. So I don't always wait till the house is built to start asking, what did they put in the foundation? No. So I start thinking about, I talked about lean years and years of surplus.
Yes.
So when there's surplus, I always start planning, okay, when there's no money coming in, what do we do? How do we survive? And I need to make sure that I can survive another 2-3 years to enable us continue in the business, and everybody needs to do that. We have to start thinking of it in that regard. And so I always suggest to entrepreneurs to say, okay, if things are going well now, how do you save? What are you saving? Because even in terms of the country, it's a season. It's going to go through a season, and we will go past it.
Yeah.
So we have to be prepared for that. And preparing that is not only in terms of the financials of your business, in terms of even the people, the structures, the processes, because it's when all those things are done that the organization will survive. Then even you as the leader, or as the founder, or as the CEO, you have to be, your brain, your system, your health, your mental health has to be strong, because you're going to be hit from every place.
True.
And if you're not strong as an individual, you're going to take the hit. And because there will be times you cannot pay the bills. It's going to come. And then what happens? What are you going to do then? And maybe you're going to have to start cutting off of some things. You have to start. So you have to begin to withdraw on some of those things now and say, okay, it's not everything is going to be fanfare. Let me not do this season and see how best. So you prepare yourself.
So with the numbers increasing daily in the communities, would you say social impact sector is doing enough? Or
It's never enough.
it's never
It's
enough?
never enough because the numbers don't decrease. It's always increasing. There are some seasons that we see numbers decreasing and we get very excited. And then it just begins to get worse. And so that's another frustration the sector always finds as well. And that's why our mental health is very important, because you feel that you are doing so much work and sometimes you can't even see the dent of the work, so, but we can't, if you stop it gets worse. So you have to just continuously go and feel that, believe to yourself that it will only get better.
As a woman in the entrepreneurial space,
Mm.
I'm often told sometimes that you can't have it all as a woman. How would you support that statement?
As everyone, you can't have it all. I think it's a balance. I think I've spoken about, there's some seasons that it's all about my job, and everyone, because I've given so much to something else, everybody understands and they give me that space. There's some seasons I promise you it's all about my children, because I have to invest a lot into them so their cups are full.
Yeah.
Because once their cups are full and they're drinking from me for some time, they feel comfortable
Yes.
if I'm investing in the business. So you have to know when that season is. When you feel to yourself, you have given too much in this, this is season for this, let me focus on that. And in doing that, and you have to balance everything. Nothing is ever completely balanced. Nothing is like 50% across board. No, if you do it like that, you will suffer.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you have to just know how to juggle it, how to manage it, how to also juggle yourself and put yourself in that balance as well, and make sure that you have the capacity to carry it all. It's not always easy as a woman, especially in a country like Nigeria.
It isn't.
Especially if you have a home, you have children, and then you want to achieve, because the environment it's always attacking a woman that has done well. But I always tell us as women too, we must raise good people, good children, good men and good women.
Yeah.
Because who is hitting us down? Sometimes it's the men. Who raised them? It's us as family.
Family,
yes. So we have to raise them better. We have to make them realize that when a woman is succeeding, it does not take anything away from the family life. It doesn't take anything away from her being a good mother or being a good wife or being a good sister. It's an addition to her as a human being. God has given her a gift, let her use it. So if we don't raise our children well to understand that, and that is both men and boys and girls, we suffer for it. When we now raise the girls to start doing well, and we don't raise the boys to understand that, then they will start telling the girls that, what are you doing that? Why are you doing that? So that's where the imbalance comes into play, when a woman after a certain time has to resign and sit at home. When that's not what she
wants.
It's not who she is as a human being. And so we all have to join forces together and say, how do we do things better? But in terms of balancing, there are always balls to juggle. And you have to, as a human being, stand strong. Because if you're standing very firmly, when you're playing with the ball, it's easy now.
It's easy.
It's
really
easy. It's very easy because you're strong. But if your mental health is not going well, you have ill in the body, you don't have that push to get it done. Once you're juggling, things are going to fall out of place. So once you do that, then it makes it easier.
So rounding up the conversation, ma'am, what would you say your future projections for ACT Foundation and the Sustainable Development Goals?
I think it's just we're pushing more, doing more across Africa. So that's for me in the next 5 years, and also helping to raise stronger social enterprise organizations, because the stronger they are, the more value they bring to me. Because the more numbers they reach, the more people they're able to reach as well. And I'm hoping that we can do that in the next 5 years, and almost we're planning to triple our numbers also. I'm hoping that goes very well as well.
Well done, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Well done, ma'am. So what would you like to tell your 20-year-old self? Anything?
Oh gosh. 20. Trying to remember when I was 20. Don't be afraid. It's possible.
It's very possible.
It's very possible. Don't be afraid. Because when you're 20 and you're just about to graduate, you start getting afraid. And you start asking yourself, oh my goodness, am I... my son is 21 now. and it's just about to graduate, and it's already like worrying up. Oh my goodness, I want to be able to. I'm like, calm down, enjoy the season. This is your season to enjoy. Enjoy it. Of course, do well, but enjoy the season as well. I wish I knew that earlier. There's so many things I would have done, but I kept on putting myself under a lot of pressure. And, I look back and I wish I did those things. So enjoy the season as well.
You've been of tremendous help. You said really soothing words to us. And I myself am actually motivated. I'm already thinking about how the viewers would feel. They're challenged, they're motivated.
Thank you so
You've
much.
made us think about our lives, and we can do more. We can want more, and it's okay.
It's okay.
To want more.
It's okay.
Would you like to say anything to the entrepreneurs out there, women out there who are trying to do so much, the little we have? What would you like to say to them?
I think I should speak first to the women. I'm a woman advocate.
Yes, please. I know.
For over 20 years. I just want to tell them that you are important. There's a place for you, and there's a reason why God brought every woman to this earth. Don't let anyone make you feel less of who you are.
Yeah.
And you have the right to achieve those goals, regardless of what anybody else says. So go out there and achieve it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, ma'am. So we have some rapid fire questions here.
Gosh.
Yeah, we have come to the point where we have to ask you some rapid fire questions. They're just very simple questions.
Okay.
So, if your life was a story, what would it be titled?
The joys of life.
The joys of life.
The joys of life.
We'll be so happy to write it.
The joys of life, yes.
What are you really passionate about life?
I'm passionate about achieving my purpose. That's my passion. I think I speak a lot about my children. I'm very passionate about my children and my family. We have a very close-knit family.
Oh,
yes,
really
my
beautiful.
siblings are my everything. I have 7 siblings. We're 8 kids, and we're very close, irritatingly close. I'm very passionate about my family and making sure that we bring out the best of each other.
If you could have an unlimited supply of one thing, what would it be?
Money.
Yes. Very important.
Because it's important. All the things I want to do, all the solutions, money will help me. Yes.
What's your favorite holiday?
Oh my goodness. I don't want to sound like all those abroad people, but I am one of those people that I just want to go to like a faraway place.
Yeah.
So people will go to, maybe, let me give an example. They will go to Ghana.
Yeah.
Let me look for an African country, and they will stay in Accra. I will go to like 6 hours out of Accra, and there's water there, sit there. I don't want to shop. I don't want to see people. I just want to be there reading my book, writing. I used to write a lot when I was younger, poetry. So I have opportunities to write, walk around, don't enter a car. If I can stay away from a car for 2 weeks and just walk around.
Have you done that before?
I have done it before.
Because that's a little bit too specific.
Yes, it's the best time. I hate shopping. It's the best thing to do because it makes you think about your life, and it gives you an opportunity to just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time.
Yeah.
Yes, I've gone many places without people. I don't have to take friends and family and sisters and children and enjoy my me time. As long as there's good food.
Oh, yeah. Very
and
important.
then good music.
Yeah.
And then there's music in the background. And you're just happy.
Right.
That's my kind of holiday.
Name one person that inspires you.
Let me name 2.
Okay.
My father is one, but he's late. My father is one of my deepest inspirations because it's not always necessarily good, but he lived for people.
Mm-hmm.
His life was all about people. So that was one of my inspirations in life. Now, my mother, and I can look at people outside, but for now, this is my season in my life because she has lived her life, then she lost her husband and she's living another life. And she's daring to live another phase at this age in a country that does not allow women that are widows to live a second phase is a good thing.
It is.
I look at her and I'm just like, this man gives me hope and inspiration.
It's really great that you draw inspiration from your immediate.
Yes, no.
immediate
Oh, I
family.
mean, with all the others, you can always mention big names and say they've done this, but sometimes it's key to look inwards. Yes. Those two people for now are my inspirations. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed every bit of it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the embodiment of wisdom that you have. Thank you for the impact you've made across Africa, across Nigeria. Communities right now are smiling because of the work that you have done. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much. And right now we have come to the end of today's episode of the Builder Story podcast. It has been profound. It has been vulnerable. It has been one which talks about, great things that CEO of Aspire Coronation Trust Foundation has done, and we have a deepest gratitude to her. Thank you so much to you for listening and for watching. Do not forget to engage, comment, and like our post. Okay, thank you so much. Till we see you again in the next episode. Thank you.